Just test the audio. What the fuck am I even playing here, man? Lord knows. Whatever it was, it's gone. Forever. Resigned to history. Lovely. Well, hello everybody and welcome. entire fucking time I've been muted. So you know what we're going to do? We're just going to go here. We'll start again. I've been talking the entire time. Talking fucking shit anyway, it doesn't matter, realistically. I'll somehow try and cut this. Well, hello everybody and welcome in to Tuesday's Movie News. I'll just intermit to this Tuesday's Movie News. I am Jonathan C. Walsh. I'm just going to do the whole fucking thing again, but it'll be a little bit more condensed this time. Welcome into this Tuesday's Movie News, where I do indeed speak about the latest news from the world of Hollywood and beyond. My dog's now looking at me impatiently like, bitch, you've been speaking for about 10 fucking minutes. What, am I ever going to get out of this toilet now? Well, you will, just a little bit later. And of course, I'm here to speak about Rachel Zegler, who I've just spoke about for the last 10 minutes muted, and her whole storm in a teacup issue over not being invited to the Academy Awards, the 94th Oscars. Just a week out, she revealed that she hadn't been invited, that she was going to watch the ceremony from the comfort of her boyfriend's couch in joggers and one of his flannels. This created controversy, consternation on social media. People tweeting her, aghast. Why are you not being invited? You are the leading actor in a movie which is nominated for Best Picture, which has been directed by the iconic Steven Spielberg, which has garnered multiple nominations. You should be there, front and centre, spearheading the sort of ensemble spirit at the ceremony. Because of course, in years gone past, when a movie won for Best Picture, the entire cast and crew assembled and celebrated it. This movie's got as good a chance as any. I actually think it will be Coda that will win in the end, but this has got as good a chance as any. Why not invite the leading actress along? It was a disgrace, and as I was saying there, muted though I was, they've been oxymoronic, the Academy Awards. The Academy, this body, they've been preaching diversity, representation for years now. And now they had the living embodiment of that in this vibrant, young, good-looking, talented actor who'd put in a performance in this movie by all accounts, but snubbed for a nomination. They had her in the palm of their hands, and they chose not to even invite her to the show. But look, it's all been addressed. She is now invited. The fairy godmother has bestowed her wish. She was praying for a last-minute intervention, and it has been given. After the uproar, as you can see, Rachel Zegler will now be presenting at the Academy Awards, which gives her a ticket and a +1, I believe. So she can now come, she can take her boyfriend, maybe he can wear his own flannel with a pair of joggers to the ceremony, and she can go dressed, suited and booted, or dressed I should just say, in some designer fucking gown, and can act like Cinderella. She's actually Snow White, by the way. She's going to be playing Snow White in an upcoming remake for Disney. So this is a hot property actor. So it was a really, really strange decision not to invite her, but she's invited now. And as I says there, muted though I was for about fucking 10 minutes, it's a storm in a teacup, realistically. You've got bigger, more grave things going on in the world just now. You've got young kids getting blown up in the city in the south of Ukraine, and no one gives a fuck about it, aside from people in Europe probably, and people like me who have got an interest in it because it's shocking what's going on. Nobody care more about these things on social media. So it's a storm in the teacup, and as I said previously, muted though I was, I'm using this topic as a conduit into a greater discussion about the Oscars and their oxymoronic ways. Preaching one thing, doing something else. Creating a best popular movie category and then taking it away under excessive pressure and criticism from the sort of hierarchy of Hollywood, the who's who of Hollywood, the established figures of Hollywood who make artsy movies. You know who I'm talking about, your Francis Ford Coppola's, Martin Scorsese's and Steven Spielberg, funnily enough. As you can see here, we have had a bye for her. She can now go. She's been nominated. She's been bestowed a presenting job, I should say, not nominated. But as you can see here, Russ Tamblyn calls out the Oscars for Rachel Zegler. She's a part, she, I think it's a he, is a part of the... Is it a he? I'm not sure. They are a part of the Academy. They have voting rights, and they says it's your duty to find Rachel a seat at the Oscars. She stars in West Side Story, which is nominated across the board. When they say representation matters, this is what that means. Please do right by her. And look, to be fair, they've seen sense. They've realised, as I says, that this is representation the very living embodiment of what they were trying to achieve in the one actor, and to snub her from the ceremony felt like a really, really bad mistake, a really missed opportunity. So now they've sorted it, they've sorted the mistake. But look, I digress, man. I say as a conduit into a greater sort of conversation about this award show this year, they have made a lot of changes. It's like a Frankenstein's monster this year, this actual ceremony. A lot of very noteworthy categories, not even getting the glitz and glam of the actual TV show. The actual, I don't know what you'd call it, the broadcast of the ceremony. They are being kicked out of the broadcast. They have been sent to get their awards an hour before, and then they will give us a sort of Frankenstein's monster sort of cut and paste job of them going to accept their awards, brief as hell, trying to, in a sense, attract a new generation of viewer, trying to cut down the length of this bloated ceremony. This is old news, as you can see. It's like fucking 2 weeks old. But I just thought I'd speak about it because I don't think we'd actually spoke about it. And as you can see, you've got loads of people coming out and expressing their dismay. Steven Spielberg, Jane Campion, Denis Villeneuve, loads and loads of people. And look, who can blame them, man? And as you can see here, 70 additional concerned Academy members are not cornered. Get away from me, Academy. I'll stab you, I will. I'll gut you, I will. I'll bleed you. They're not cornered. They are concerned. Like Sir John Williams, Guillermo del Toro, Kathleen Kennedy, James Cameron, the who's who of Hollywood coming out and lambasting the Academy for this decision to leave out in the cold some really talented individuals. And as you can see, it's critical artistic crafts like music scoring, film editing, production design, makeup, hairstyling and sound will always deserve the same respect and recognition as crafts like acting, directing, visual effects. These are the categories, in a sense, that are being cut out. As the likes of film editing, huge component of a movie being put together. The edit, you can shoot as much as 4 or 5 hours of footage for a movie. It's the editor in conjunction with the director and maybe the writer who puts the final cut together and makes the movie that we get to watch and enjoy a thing. That's their job. You are putting them in to a situation where they are going and collecting their award an hour before the actual broadcast. I think that's disgraceful. Makeup, a huge part of certain movies. Other ones maybe meat and bones, maybe not as required as much, but there's always a degree of makeup and hairstyle needed for these movies. Original score, the fucking score, the very heartbeat of the movie. You take the music away, the stirring emotive moments, some of the hardcore Sylvester action scoring moments from the Avengers and stuff like that. The movie has no soul. It's lost its very being. You are kicking the composers into the pre-show to collect their awards. Production design, sound. Fair enough, animated shot and live action shot, but there's some huge categories being shunted into the pre-show, pre-broadcast slot. I think that's wrong. And again, it speaks again. It says a lot about the actual Academy, just making sure that fucking macro's off. It says a lot about the Academy and where they are just now. They seem to be a riot. Like, not for six. They don't know what they're doing. They're making the show more attractive to a new audience. Well, the new audience hasn't been watching anyway, and they're unlikely to watch now. It's the film enthusiasts, the people who genuinely have an interest in the whole broader picture of film, which is composing, film editing, makeup, set design, production design. Those are the people who will go in and watch this kind of movie. Guys like me who'll stay up to 3-4 in the morning watching this. We are the people who are more inclined to keep our eyeballs on this show come what may. And that's a slap in the face for not only people like me who have a real interest in it and want to see guys like Ludwig Göransson get their day in the sun, but it's also a slap in the face for the actual people themselves, blood, sweat and tears, editing the movie, scoring it. They don't get the recognition they realistically deserve. I think that's a disgrace, and it was a disgrace that they didn't invite Zegler, but she's now invited. They've righted one wrong. Fucking write the other one, please, and get the show back to the way it should be. But let I digress. I'm moving on to episode number 2. It's still not episode number 2. Topic number 2. It's one of those kind of shows tonight. Episode. Wow. So Northman was Primal. This is Alexander Skarsgård, of course, speaking about a specific moment in the actual movie, Robert Edgar's movie, of course, upcoming Viking epic, but I've used it as a sort of overbranching term to describe the actual movie itself, because watching the trailer it felt like it was Primal. It felt special to me. The cast was there, the violence was there, the visuals were stunning, the period piece was perfectly captured. Skarsgård himself channeling his inner Tarzan once again with that incredibly ripped physique, which we're going to see just now. This movie looked dynamite. And this is a guy I've been watching for years, Robert Edgers. Went and seen The Lighthouse on its release, thought it was stunning in its artistry, its black and white shots, its aspect ratio, the dual performance of Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. It was a stunning piece of cinema. There was laugh out loud moments, there was deep, traumatic moments, there was deeply uncomfortable moments. But all in all, just a mastery of filmmaking from Robert Edgers' The Lighthouse. The Witch before it, with Anya Taylor-Joy, and a specifically malevolent looking, what I say it was a bull, but it was a ram. That was a stunning movie as well. Stunning for all of the reasons I've just spoke about. An overall product, a package being presented to the viewer, the score, the cinematography, the guy coming out and speaking about The Witch and how he had to naturally light the movie for night shots. He had to work a technical magic upon the movie. That guy would not get his day in the sun now with the current Academy Awards, and I think that's a disgrace. But I digress. The Witch was a claustrophobic, haunting horror movie in some ways. So when you see Robert Edgers teaming up with the likes of Alexander Skarsgård, and I believe Willem Dafoe may be in there once again playing a slightly deranged holy man, pretty sure he is. I'm going to look down. Is Willem Dafoe in this movie? I don't know. But when you see him teaming up with Alexander Skarsgård, hello Mike, welcome in, for this Viking epic, I can't tell you how excited I am, man. This theme of vengeance, there is a traumatic moment in this character's young life. He is left for dead, and he wants to come back and reclaim his kingdom. As someone who has Viking origins in me, I have actual fucking ancestry going back Lord knows how long, of Danish Viking descent. I've got an actual sort of link to this in some sense. This is probably fantasy. Of course it's fantasy, but still, I feel like a connection. I have a connection to this story. So look man, I'm fucking really excited about it. And you've got this guy coming out speaking about the actual, just one action sequence, where he rips the throat out of a poor, don't know what, vanquished foe, and then howls at the moon. He said this: West Side Story was awesome, was it, Mike? I'm going to watch it. I says that. I'd muted myself for 10 minutes, and then I had to redo the whole fucking intro of the show. But yeah, I've heard it's very, very good. As I says originally, I never actually says it when the actual mic get fucking unmuted. I've always blown hot and cold with sort of musical movies. There was a period 3-4 years ago where I was trying to consume every musical I could possibly get my hands on. I know the original is a thing. I've never seen the original, and I'm conflicted. Do I go and watch the original before I watch the remake? Would it be blasphemy to watch this and then go back and watch the original? It's Spielberg though, and I've loved this guy for my entire life. The very first movie I went to see was a Spielberg movie, Jurassic Park, in the theatres. As like a 4-year-old, I went in and watched that movie. So I've always had an affinity with this man and his ability to really capture the attention of audiences. For 30 years, man, plus, well, longer than that, but for 30 years of my life anyway, I've been in awe of this man. So I feel like I'm going to go and watch it. By all accounts, Rachel Zegler, absolutely outstanding in the movie. Leading role, but outshone by her supporting actress, whose name eludes me just now. She has been nominated. Zegler get fucking shunned from the Oscars. She gets snubbed. And now they have gave her a presenter gig so they can save face and get her into the Oscar ceremony. A disgrace. And as I says earlier, it's an organisation that's preaching modernisation and try to show more representation and just progress. To snub a 20-something, very young, upcoming actor, beautiful actress, very talented, who possesses all of those qualities, I found it really fucking weird. But yeah, I will get into it. I'll definitely watch it. apparently it looked good. I seen the photographs, I seen the trailer. It looked very cool, almost Latino-esque. It had that vibe, the sort of Rio Carnival vibe going on, the colours. It had that vibe to it. I've never seen the original, so I don't know if I'm miles off there. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me when you get that amount of nominations when it's Spielberg, who clearly has a passion for it. I expected it to be good. But yeah, man, Skarsgård's been out talking about this. He says this: it was the end of a very long, complex, short of the Viking berserkers raiding a Slav village. The choreography was so difficult with all of these elements, 50 people fighting simultaneously, the extras and the horses, making it look perfect was a real undertaking. And then there was a moment he really had to sink his teeth into. That climax where I rip a guy's throat out and howl at the moon, it was primal. I just let it all out. I was exhausted, and I think you see it in the shot. I was a wreck, truly a wreck. He goes on to say that a lot of stuff that I might have said yes to a couple of years ago, I'm not that keen on doing anymore. I feel a bit lost. I don't know where to go from here. This experience, it definitely changed me. I think it changed most people who were on that mountaintop. Bring on the berserker action. This movie sounds incredible. When you've got a guy like Skarsgård, who's been round the block quite a few times, I think he's about the same age as me, saying that this has changed him to the point where he's going to think long and hard about career choices moving forward and what movies he's going to pick out. I think that speaks volumes, man. Technically it looks stunning. As an epic, it looks palpable in the trailer. The cast is there, the director is there, and much like when you had Peter Sarsgaard, I believe it was, of the Batman fame, coming out and saying it was like a Pixies concert, the atmosphere behind the scenes, I felt that was palpable watching the Batman. I think when you have a director and a cast who have this sort of symbiotic relationship, they're on singing from the same hymn sheet and they're really enjoying themselves, that will almost always manifest in the actual movie, and it will be something that will give, inevitably, I think, joy to some people. You can't please everyone. There'll be people going and watch the movie and think it's crap. My dog is having a 3-course dinner on his fucking paw behind me, and it's so annoying. So annoying. Please, Harley, I insist you stop raping your fucking paws, please. But I digress. I'm going to move on to this. This will probably be the second last. It was actually meant to be the third of 5. But I'm going to cut out probably the Morbius topic. Apparently Morbius is disappointing critics, and we've got critics coming out and suggesting you should wait till the home release, which I don't think's fucking right, by the way. If you've not enjoyed the movie, all art is subjective. Just because you've not got anything from it doesn't mean everyone is going to share your views. You should never tell an audience not to go and watch a movie in the theatres. A lot of people have put blood, sweat and tears into that movie, and even if it is critically a disaster and the fans agree, very harsh. Come on, you've got to back cinema after the couple of years we've had. But telling people not to go and watch it in a theatre, disgraceful. I don't understand how these critics can even be in a job. Get to fuck. But I digress. Oppenheimer seems more prevalent now than ever, or prescient than ever, to be speaking about this. With, of course, what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, and the potential of a nuclear holocaust around the corner. I don't think that'll ever happen, incidentally. A lot of people wetting their panties over that a couple of weeks back. I don't think Putin will ever drop a bomb. Certainly not in a NATO nation, or the United States of America. But obviously Oppenheimer was the man who, along with, I think it was, what was it? Project Manhattan, gave us the nuclear bombs, which of course were dropped on Hiroshima and Fukushima. And of course Christopher Nolan, a man who is more renowned for thriller fantasy movies, often accused of being soulless in his ventures in cinema, taking on a biopic for the very first time, and what is, I think, is perhaps what he must be in double digits now for movies. And of course going back to tried and tested actors, which I'm going to speak about as an interconnected topic. But one of the actors that's just been cast is Hereditary star Alex Wolff, and he does really join a burgeoning cast now. This cast is getting beyond a joke. But realistically, I'm here for Cillian Murphy and Cillian Murphy only. This guy was born to play Oppenheimer. He looks like him. It's eerie how much he looks like him. And he's a thoroughly fantastic actor who, even though he gets his due, I don't believe gets enough credit for just how good he is. This guy's been doing it consistently for well over a decade now. And I just think he's one of the most underrated actors in the game. He's a chameleon, he can change up the type of roles he plays, and he's always convincing, he always delivers a great performance. And to see him working, I think, with Nolan for, what, fifth time or something? There's actually an article says how many. But working as a lead on a Nolan movie for the very first time in this, I think that speaks volumes about where Cillian is now. He's starting to get his dues. And of course the fact you do look like the actual title or lead of the fucking movie helps. But just really excited for this, man. I've watched this guy's interviews from back in the day. He had a haunting way about him. The way he spoke. You were drawn to this man, he had a presence. And just the guilt, the overriding sense of guilt from this brilliant man, team of brilliant people, doing something truly iconic, special, but then having the immediate regret of perhaps being the destroyer of worlds. I thought that was something special. The quotes are absolutely incredible. It's one of the greatest quotes coming out of a human being's mouth, well, ever, since probably the fucking ancient Greek philosophers. A truly brilliant quote from the man. But man, as you can see here, he's a frequent collaborator. It's his fifth. Is it his fifth? Is it his fifth? I don't know. It's the first time he's leading a Nolan movie, which I'm excited about, as I said, for all the aforementioned reasons. But not just that, man. Look at the fucking cast this guy's assembled here. I was going to bring this other topic up. I don't even have to do it. Look at the cast this movie has. If you were needing some convincing over this movie, first time Nolan does a biopic, pretty special moment, has to be said. This guy, everything he touches, he'd never done a historical movie. He did Dunkirk. I thought it was fucking incredible. As a World War II aficionado, thought that was brilliant. Or fanatic. He does biopic. It's kind of in the same setting. There's that connection, 5 degrees of separation, World War II, the bombs. I think this is going to be a special movie, but if you needed some sort of encouragement as to why you should be getting excited for it, look at the cast, man. Cillian Murphy in lead, Emily Blunt playing the wife, I believe, of Murphy, of Oppenheimer. And of course, Kenneth Branagh's back once again. I thought he was one of the standouts in Tenet. It's a Shakespearean actor. Is he a Shakespearean actor? I think he directed Shakespeare. I don't know if he actually acted Shakespeare. Shakespearean director. Turn actor. Florence Pugh's in there. Always nice to see. Jack Quaid. Matthias Schweighöfer, I think, of Army of the Dead fame. Robert Downey Jr.'s in there. Robert motherfucking Downey Jr. Matt Damon, David Dastmalchian, and Josh Peck. It is a stunning cast, man. And what excites me most about this is not the cast, it's the fact that clearly the script is there. When you're attracting David Dastmalchian, you're attracting Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr., it's a real melting pot of talent at various different points in their career. Now, if you were looking at Downey Jr., you'd say this guy's made for life, he can take some risks. It's probably not much of a shout for him to come onto this movie. It could be a tiny little cameo, same with Matt Damon. But the likes of Dastmalchian and your Pughs, they've still got ways to go with their career. I thought Dastmalchian's a great actor, but he's not at the level of a Matt Damon or Downey Jr. just yet. So they have to be a little bit more picky about what scripts they choose and what roles they decide to act in. And they have obviously all looked at this fucking script, and it must be incredible. There must be a degree of thriller to it. It's a biopic, I understand that, but just to race against time to try and fucking harness this technology into a bomb for the United States military government, whatever, and end World War II. I'm not going to get into the politics of that. There's loads of people say they didn't have to drop the bombs. Japan was ready for surrender anyway. I have my fucking doubts about that. The Japanese were wily characters back then, and they still are. Tough people. Very devoted. I don't think they would ever have stopped, personally, unless the bomb, well, at least I think the second one was a little bit too much. Probably the first one was too much, to be fair, when you actually read the stories of it. Fucking horrendous event, obviously, in human history, but probably necessary, that's what I'm saying. I think there's a degree of thriller to this story. There's got to be an aspect where it's going to chill the audience. It's going to have them on tenterhooks, on the edge of their seat. If it's just a biopic about this man, as interesting as he was, I don't think it will do anywhere near as good as if it has some sort of ticking time bomb aspect to it. If you get the double entendre, the sort of, what you call it, pun. So look, man, I'm very fucking excited for this movie. I think it's going to be absolutely class, and bringing this young guy in, this guy's starting to really build a career. I've mentioned Florence Pugh, David Dastmalchian, having to pick very carefully. Alex Wolff has to pick very carefully, and I thought he was brilliant in Hereditary, a very underrated movie. But look, I digress. I'm moving on to the final topic, which is going to be this. Where is it? That's the one. Karen Gillan in Guardians of the Galaxy. This is going to be brief. Very, very brief indeed. But she has posted an image up of her in makeup for the upcoming James Gunn finale, I'm going to say, because he's come out and he says categorically this is going to be the final sort of, well, the end of the road for him and the Guardians as we know them just now, which probably means the Guardians as we know them period, because I can't imagine anybody else in that team and it working. It's Rocket, it's Groot, it's Peter, it's Nebula, it's Gamora. They're the only sort of grouping that would make sense. You could bring in Thor, you could do other things, but it wouldn't work quite as well for me. So, I mean, you look at the photograph of Karen Gillan here, and you can see right away that armed with James Gunn's quotes down the bottom here, where he actually does say, this is the end for us. The last time people will see this team of Guardians. It's big, it's so big and dark, and different from what people might be expecting it to be. I just want to be true to the characters, the story, and give people the wrap-up that they deserve for the story. That's always a little bit scary. I'm doing my best. You align that with this photograph. Maybe not that, because that's probably from another movie. Where she's battered and bruised. She looks as though obviously slightly metallic in her construct. She looks as though she's melting away. That there is actual physical wounds on her face. You align that with that quote, I think it's going to be the end for a lot of characters in this movie. I think it's going to be and obviously Zoe Saldana coming out and saying it was very emotional, it was heart-wrenching. So I think this is going to be a dark movie. I think it's going to be a tragic end for a lot of characters. I'm trying to think who could come out of this movie alive and make sense for it to be the end of the story for Guardians and James Gunn not to want to come back and do it. And realistically, I think Nebula probably has to go. Gamora probably has to go. Probably Rocket. Groot maybe survives. I think Peter maybe survives. But I think the vast majority of this team are going to bite the bullet in this movie. It's going to be tragic. Almost Toy Story 3. Holding hands getting into the sort of incinerator. That's what I expect from this movie. And just continuing on the themes explored in the previous two, where you've got this ragtag group of colourful characters with their own tragedy within, each and every one damaged, making a cohesive whole, and how when that starts to fall apart, how that impacts them. I'm just really looking forward to this fucking movie, that's what I'm saying, man. Can't wait to see what James has gave us. Thoroughly enjoyed being with these characters. Went to see the first movie nearly 10 years ago in the theatres, and the sort of combination of the music, the funny action, the big personalities, Chris Pratt with his great humour. Going to be sad to see them end. But what I digress, all good things must come to an end. And on that note, I'm going to come to an end. Because it is going on for 12 midnight here. It's very late. And I've got to get in to walk my dog for one last time. Letting him do what he's got to do. And then get into some fucking food. But what I digress, man, what's your thoughts on the 4 topics I touched on? I want to say it was 3 or 4. What do you make about Rachel Zegler getting snubbed at the Oscars and then getting invited seemingly a couple of days later? What do you make about the Oscars ripping up their show and really tossing some of these big categories to the side, kicking them out of the actual broadcast? You can comment below if you get anything to say about that down below in the comment section. You can share your thoughts on the Northman. Are you excited for Alexander Skarsgård? Robert Eggers returning with the Northman. And finally, Oppenheimer and the end of the road for the Guardians of the Galaxy. It seems, judging by Nebula's picture that Karen Gillan has shared, and the quotes from Zoe Saldana, and of course James Gunn. What's your thoughts? You can comment down below if you get anything to say at all down below in the comment section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, you get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Hit the follow button over on Twitch as well to see us over there for the live streams over on that platform. And regardless of what you do, until the next time, thank you very much for watching. I am done. Bye bye. Thank you, Mike, for commenting as well. Appreciate it.